Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hi, this is Joe from Vanta. In today's digital world, compliance regulations are changing constantly, and earning customer trust has never mattered more. Vanta helps companies get compliant fast and stay secure with the most advanced AI, automation, and continuous monitoring out there. So whether you're a startup going for your first SOC 2 or ISO 27001, or a growing enterprise managing vendor risk, Vanta makes it quick, easy, and scalable. And I'm not just saying that because I work here. Get started at Vanta.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kilowatt, a podcast about electric vehicles, renewable energy, autonomous driving, and much, much more. My name is Bodie, and I am your host. And on today's episode, we have a short one because it is Christmas Eve. There's not a lot of news. I mean, there's a lot of news. There's just not a lot of news that's worth talking about. Yeah, so let's go ahead. I'm just stalling while I pull up my notes here. This will be the last news episode of 2025. Next week, well, on Friday, and I'm hoping I can pull this off, folks. I am struggling. But on Friday, I have a special Christmas episode, but it is not going well. So we'll see what happens there. But whether it's 5 minutes or 20 minutes, you're going to get a special Christmas episode. And then on Tuesday, I have an interview with Matt from Long Way Home, and I think you're really gonna enjoy that episode. And then I'm still looking for submissions for our final show. I don't know if it'll be the final show of the year or the first show of 2026. We'll kind of see how this goes. January. The Friday when I would normally release shows if everything goes perfectly, that's on January 2nd. So I'm going to release an episode on Tuesday in December. I don't know if I want to release an episode, on Wednesday. That's maybe a little bit too soon. So maybe I might adjust the schedule this week like I always do, but maybe adjust it up a little bit so we can still get all of this good content in. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I am looking for your EV story or autonomous driving or renewable energy story. I currently have 2. I was hoping to get 10, but I'd be happy with 5. So if 3 of you if you could all talk amongst yourselves, figure out which 3 of you is going to do it, and then you can either send me a typed note. Obviously, handwritten note's not going to work, but you can type out your story and send it to me if you don't want to be on air, or you can just record into your phone and then just send me whatever that recording is. It doesn't have to sound great. I've got 2 really good ones. I believe in my heart we can get 3 more good ones. Actually, I believe in my heart we could get 7 more good ones. But I also believe in my heart each and every week I'm going to get the show out on time. So, my heart's not always right. Anyway, it could be an EV story, autonomous driving, renewable energy. It could be something personal to you, something you thought was cool in 2025, something you're looking forward to in 2026. It doesn't matter as long as it kind of touches on those 3 topics. All right. First up, I think this story came from Mark. Normally, when somebody sends in a story, I will make a little note who it came from, and I want to say this came from Mark, but I didn't make a note, so I don't know for sure. But Mark sends stories like this all the time, so I'm going to credit Mark for this. November 2025 Tesla registrations in Europe dropped 34%. So when I say Europe, I mean the European Union. So in November of 2024, Tesla had 18,430 vehicle registrations, or, people registered that many Teslas. In November 2025, the number was 12,130. So we're looking at a little bit of a drop, like I said, 34%. But battery electric vehicle registrations, not hybrids, but pure battery electric vehicle registrations grew by 44% in November 2025 when compared to November 2024. So that is an interesting metric. Next up, BYD is letting owners share their home chargers through the BYD app. Think of it like an Airbnb for your charger at home, except the person needing the charge and the person who has the charger, they're able to negotiate a price ahead of time, I guess, which I think is cool. If you are in the middle of nowhere and you're the only charger in the middle of nowhere, you're probably going to charge a little bit more if you're in a populated city. I believe PlugShare did something similar to this early on. PlugShare would show private chargers, public chargers, and then home chargers. But I don't think they got paid, but I could be wrong on that. The Cybertruck has earned the IIHS Top Safety Plus rating. This is only for units built after 2020. I wrote 2025, but I think this is 2024. I should double check this before saying this. Stand by while I check my notes. Nope, only for vehicles built after April 2025. So I was correct. But that's not great news if you have one before April 2025. But it does show that Tesla is still improving the Cybertruck, despite it being a niche product. But they're improving it not like in the fancy technology way, right? They're improving it behind the scenes and just making it better. And that's kind of what Tesla and other companies obviously do. But I do think it's worth mentioning because the Cybertruck is such a polarizing vehicle that it's nice to call out when the company is, or a company, doesn't just have to be Tesla, is continuing to improve a product, even though, like I said, it's kind of niche. The sales aren't great when compared to, other EV sales. Obviously, that's not an apples to apples comparison. Anyway, I'm going to move on to a plug. And not a sponsored plug. This is just a friendly plug. Obviously, many of you know that I'm a big fan of the True North EVs podcast. James puts that together. He had a really great episode and with a great opportunity. Tesla Canada, because James is, True North EVs. He's in the North. He's in Canada. He had an opportunity from Tesla Canada to drive around the Cybertruck for a few days. He lives in Manitoba. He has some really cool stories. And I don't know if you know this, but Manitoba is quite a bit colder than Arizona. We live in a big world, and this show has a large reach in terms of, geographic. So I don't know if everybody knows. I'm being sarcastic. I'm being silly. But so James had some good things to say about the Cybertruck, and he had some things where Tesla could improve the Cybertruck in the cold weather that is Manitoba. So you should go look at it. I'll put a link in the show notes as well. All right. Volkswagen is not bringing the ID Buzz to the U.S. in 2026. That doesn't mean that they're canceling the ID Buzz. That just means that they're going to sell the 2027 model instead of the 2026 model here in the US. And if I'm reading between the lines, it looks like VW has way too many 2025 models, and there's just too many cars sitting on the dealer lots. And instead of adding to the backlog, they're going to clear out the 2025s, and then we'll see the ID Buzz again for the 2027 model year. Now, I love the ID Buzz. No shade to the Buzz whatsoever. I think it's a really cool car. I really hope that the 2027 ID Buzz is worth the massive price tag in terms of value and range, or they bring down the price to match the car's capabilities. Yeah, I know some of you are not fans of e-revs, but I think a vehicle like the ID Buzz, because it is so big, might benefit from a little e-rev until Volkswagen can figure out what they're doing with that car. But I think it's cool. I definitely don't want it to go away. Ford is recalling over 272,000 vehicles due to faulty park module software. This is going to affect Ford F-150 Lightnings model years 2022 through 2026. The Mustang Mach-E model year 2024 to 2026, and the Maverick, because the Maverick has the hybrid version, and that's models 2025 to 2026. This can all be fixed by an over-the-air update. And I don't normally talk about recalls when it comes to over-the-air updates because, I don't know, it's just like we need to come up with a better name. Also, I would never stop talking about recalls every time a car needed to be updated, and it was a quote-unquote recall, but it was just a simple software update. I'm only telling you this because I know there are a lot of people in the community that have Ford electric vehicles, and while this can be fixed by an over-the-air update, Ford doesn't have a fix just yet, as of the article that I read, and I don't think that information has changed. So until they get a fix for it and create a fix for it, I just want everybody to, have a heads up. The vehicles just can kind of roll away. So we don't want that to happen and hurt somebody. And finally, Elon is getting the pay package that a Delaware judge said, nah, you can't have it. And then Tesla shareholders last year had to vote for it again. And then the judge says, nah, you still can't have it. Well, that went to the Delaware Supreme Court, and this Delaware Supreme Court said, you can. At the time that the pay package was supposed to be awarded, it was a $55 billion pay package. It is now worth $139 billion at Tesla's current stock price. So that is insane. But closing the loop on that story, which is just been one of those stories that just kind of been in the ether for the last, year or two, so year and a half. All right, everybody. Like I said, I'm recording this on Christmas Eve, so I got to get to bed so Santa can come. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season. I hope everybody is happy, safe, and healthy. Yeah, not only for the next 2 weeks, but through 2026 for sure. And then as far as 2027 goes, we'll have to talk about that in December of 2026. But I feel confident that I will have the same feelings and wish you the same good tidings for 2027. As of today, December 2025, I'm not a monster, but December 24th, 2026, I might be. We'll see where it goes. All right, everybody, thanks so much. I will talk to you soon.
Hi, this is Joe from Vanta. In today's digital world, compliance regulations are changing constantly, and earning customer trust has never mattered more. Vanta helps companies get compliant fast and stay secure with the most advanced AI, automation, and continuous monitoring out there. So whether you're a startup going for your first SOC 2 or ISO 27001, or a growing enterprise managing vendor risk, Vanta makes it quick, easy, and scalable. And I'm not just saying that because I work here. Get started at Vanta.com.
Holidays mean feasting, from cheddar biscuits to French toast bakes. Hero Bread has you covered with 0 to 5 grams net carb and high fiber options to ensure your holidays stay delicious and balanced. Like their 3 grams net carb pan of chocolat. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code FALL25 at checkout. That's FALL25 at hero.co. All figures are per serving of Hero Bread. Contains up to 17 grams of fat per serving. See the product nutrition panels on hero.co for more information.
And now, a next-level moment from AT&T Business. Say you've sent out a gigantic shipment of pillows, and they need to be there in time for International Sleep Day. You've got AT&T 5G, so you're fully confident. But the vendor isn't responding, and International Sleep Day is tomorrow. Luckily, AT&T 5G lets you deal with any issues with ease, so the pillows will get delivered and everyone can sleep soundly, especially you. AT&T 5G requires a compatible plan and device. Coverage not available everywhere. Learn more at att.com/5G network.